amount of open enrollment in and said we would be fine with the kind of numbers that we have. We still, even with these numbers, right now there's 13 no in and 23 out. These do not mean that any of them are coming or going. I can speak to a couple of the ins, I know they're coming, and a couple of the outs that we have spoken to that said, yeah, they're for sure are going out based upon their reasons. So we've contacted everybody on the list, but there's got to be a few that are missing because I went and looked at the notes before the meeting. We had 18 that were contacted and there were 23 on the list. So we still have some more phone calls to make, but they really don't make their decisions final until the month of June. Right now, after tonight, everything gets approved. We send a letter out saying, yes, you've been approved. And then from there, they still have plenty of time to make a decision. And the reality is, they can make their decision on the first day of school, too. So we are absolutely making phone calls, determining what are the reasons for their choices. It is, and Becky made a lot of those. If you look at the list in a little bit, you'll see their 4K age students. It's I work here, my child care provider is here, older brothers and siblings go to school here. I mean, it's all, sure, totally makes sense. But just because they open a role for 4K doesn't mean they continue. So a lot of times they do it based upon the child care, but once they go to 5K, which is a full-time program, they'll return back to their school. So we've had some of those conversations too. The other thing I do want to point out is that there's 7 new applications for virtual schools. I know I mentioned last year about, hey, I really think we need to look at virtual schools, and I did get some negative feedback about it. But I gotta say, we already have 9, there's 7 more. When we have spoken to them about offering virtual schools, we have, and Bob can speak to this too if you guys want more dialogue, they have said they would absolutely be interested if we had a virtual school here. And I think the benefits are significant for that. So we're meeting, we're gonna try to see what we can pull together. Right now, we can have students be pretty much, they can take online classes through us. So we just are gonna try to get more of a system put in place. But I am very optimistic that we can take care of some of these virtual school needs locally. So we already have an alternative education program. And in that program, we for sure have space where we can start looking at some of these students as, they'll be our students, we'll provide this experience to them. We just need to make sure that we look at the DPI requirements and we're able to provide that package. We just need a little bit of time, but I think we can for sure provide that.
What does that mean, that we'd be providing it?
So instead of paying a teacher, right, so we hire a teacher. If you look at the amount of, they end up with 15 students, 6 sections, they have 90 students on their caseload, right? We right now can contract out a virtual school class for about $250 to $300, and that's our student who's taking that virtual school class. We also have Edgenuity, which is it's an online platform. We still have a teacher on record for that, but those students, what's the cost per Edgenuity course, Bob?
Per course?
Yeah.
It's a license.
Yeah.
It's available 24/7, and what is it?
And we have the licenses. So, you know, we should absolutely be looking at those, and we do. Right now, there are some students who use an Edgenuity class that doesn't fit their schedule. They are looking for a different option, and we don't have it. They'll take an Edgenuity class. So we do have success with those options. So what we want to do is, rather than say, yeah, we can do virtual stuff, we actually want to come to you and say, look, this is the menu of opportunities that we want to provide for our students, and to be very transparent about, hey, we would like to offer, quote, our own virtual school. We can contract out services. Right now, Jim, if you're a student here and you said you wanted to go online, say, okay, how many classes do you want? Now, why are we doing this though? And we do believe that face-to-face right here is one of the best things that we can do. But learning coaches can help with that. And there are some schools, they're actually looking at saying, hey, in order to graduate, we want you to take 1 online class. So there's tons of online learning today. Some are very effective, and some of these online programs, they're not. And if you talk to superintendents throughout the state of Wisconsin, they're frustrated, and I have no problem saying it tonight, they're frustrated with students that open a rollout to virtual schools, do not complete the coursework, and then come back a year later and they're non-grads. You know, so there are flaws in the system today. That's why I like saying, hey, this is our student, we have them, we've got this. We'll provide extra support, we'll make sure that you're successful. The other variable that's very interesting here, it's a new variable which has started in the past couple of years. There are homeschool families that are choosing the virtual school curriculum, that are staying home. And that's their format. And now instead of being part of the homeschool network, they are now officially open enrolled someplace else. But they've never been there, they're looking at it for their curriculum, which makes sense. So again, there's some really good models that are out there. So I think we should learn from all of that, and we should offer our own. So we don't have that as a proposal tonight, but that's what we're up to, you know, because right now, 7 students going to a virtual school, at $7,000 is $49,000. I guarantee we can provide that opportunity for a lot less than that. You know, and I believe those students they have an opportunity. If there are students, regardless if it's online or not, there are students, they're in the Mayville School District, they can be out for that club, they can come for the band, they can be on the football team. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities that come with that, right now, if you open enroll 100% to a virtual school, we're not available for that. You have to take some classes here, otherwise you just know is the answer. So, just want to plant the seed and let's see where that grows, but we're working on it.
I've heard both sides of the law and material and this type of stuff, but as I will stress before, is that although virtual school can help certain kids and stuff like that, I still have major concerns that we'll see a lot more trending towards that, and that's always a major concern.
Well, we only have 9 that are out, and there's 7 new.
Yeah, but
That's
the word
double,
gets
almost
out
double.
per se, are more going to be apt to take the virtual school. And I'm not talking about those coming from out of area.
Yeah, well,
choosing
maybe we
the
want to
virtual
do some
school
survey
here,
stuff
but
then.
it's always a major concern.
But I would say, Joe, ready? Word is out. The
Well,
system's
sure,
about
no, I
choice. The
understand
word is
the
out in the
online
state of
colleges,
Wisconsin.
you see college online and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
But I would say, me personally, when you talk to, if you look at the other applications, mostly we're just kind of moving back and forth between
And
dodging
it might be a
schools.
great way that we
You
find
know?
one particular class that every student has to take online, and or be this class and that class or something like that.
But right now, there are some students, and out of the list, they will not be in a building. There's anxiety, there's other
Sure.
social things, that's just not what they're looking for. And right now, well, it's easier for them to fill out an application to go to a formal program. So to me, it's not a promo where we're looking for all kids to go there. I think offering a class, great, and we already do have that. And it's not like it's on fire and everybody's taking them. The other part is when we look at the facility and our library, it's gonna have opportunities to be in more of a room. Like this year, we have a student taking an advanced math class, can't offer that here. They're taking it online, but they're taking it online like a distance learning class. So when they go, there's the computer, there's the teacher that's there. And we'll have spaces set up in our library that'll be just for that too. So I think we'll have more opportunities to do it seamlessly in the building. And we do already have an alternative education program. So it's not a big reach for us. But I do hear you loud and clear, and anybody else. We don't want to go out there promoting, there are 385 students all go online. No way.
Not
We've got a
necessarily
Renaissance
saying that,
program we offer.
I hope that our numbers don't shoot way high unless they're coming from out of area.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'd like to see if these 7 do come to fruition, I would have preferred to have us offer something to them, you know. So, other stuff that's coming up here before I'm done. So tomorrow night is the Mayville Drug Summit. So it's the district partnered with the city and the chamber. I will say the chamber really in the city that they've done a lot of the work. We're providing the space, and they are coming 1:35 to 3 o'clock tomorrow at assembly at the high school. It's not intended for the middle school students. So the evening one, if people do want to have the younger kids come, parents should take them to that. So we did share that message. A couple of people called. just let them know. So it is, we would recommend just the younger kids be with the adults.
Scott, the time has changed in after the high school program, to 1:15 to 2:25.
Oh,
And that was at the request of the presenter. After the presentation, they want some time for students that hang around that may need some debriefing, and the rest of the students will go to their 8-hour class.
okay, we just sent a newsletter out, by the way, but that's okay, it's a student assembly after all. So it's not intended for parents. Parents are in the evening. So that starts at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It's information, different resources will be out there. I believe that they're gonna have, it's pretty crazy to see, a room that's set up, Bob?
Yeah, we're working on that. We're gonna create a room that's gonna include a bed, a dresser, and a nightstand, and maybe other pieces of furniture, and they're gonna set up a room where they're gonna have these items of concern that are related to drug abuse in the room, so that they can help parents identify how to find these things. Because oftentimes they're right out in the open, and parents just don't recognize what they are. And so they want to set up kind of a room that will help show parents what to look for so that they can help support their children.
Do they still need the furniture? I was just asked about that this morning. Do they have everything?
Well, we think we do, yeah. We have a bed, a nightstand, and a dresser, and the room I'm thinking of has other loungy type of furniture that could be used if they so desire.
So the presentation goes from 6 to 8, then they have time at the end, so on the invite it says 5 to 9, so that's a big commitment for people. So there's a special board meeting on May 10th, so it starts at 6 o'clock, it's a closed session event. Then we just, Dodge County Superintendents, I haven't been with them for a while here, just with scheduling stuff, so I'll be meeting with them on the 11th, just hearing about end of the school year, how things are going, and what their initiatives are. I saw on the calendar there's a talent show at the middle school from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock on the 11th. I haven't heard much about that though. And then we have a big meeting. We have an employee advisory committee about benefits. I should say employee benefits advisory committee. That's going to be meeting next week, Wednesday. The negotiations committee is going to be meeting with them as well in closed session, where we'll get the final readout of the RFP for benefits. So no one was happy with the 18% increase we received for our health insurance. And I will give Miss Susie Kaiser tons of accolades for doing a great job. So we saw some great solutions today. And so we'll have a final meeting with this advisory group, and then negotiations committee will be there as well. And then from there, the benefits will be brought to the full board with a recommendation for some updates for the 2018-19 school year. So it's a district art show that is not MOF 18, it's May 18. And that's a Friday night from 6 to 8, and then it's open again on Saturday from 1 to 4. That's at the middle school, so I encourage you to stop by. And then a board meeting on the 21st, which I just shared, will have benefits. Because we have to approve any changes in there. The open enrollment meetings for benefits will be only 2 days later, so we'll be just in time. So what happened was we got presented with this whopper of an increase, and we have been meeting regularly, and that came kind of out of left field. So it's a 3-year strategic planning process for benefits, and that 18% just chopped a year off then, because no one wants to see an 18%. And I think in the end, the results are good. So we'll see what we bring to you. So thanks for all.
All right, thank you, Scott. Moving down to board reorganization. We have resolution 1718, 228, determination of board meetings, first and third Monday, 6 p.m. in the administrative building. The motion. So motion by Moore, second by Dave. Any questions on this resolution for board meetings?
I do, and there's been talk throughout the city that there's a major problem with the city of Mayville and the school district, be it holding board meetings. Is there any type of thought, maybe in the future, of talking about maybe doing Tuesdays and/or talking with the city and having them do Tuesdays? Because it's a major problem with being able to have people go to both board meetings Well, we're talking about special types of things going on now. They're on second floor, but they have other things going on all the time. And I know that they've always said that they would like to see some things going to Tuesdays at some point. Just a thought.
Any other discussion? Norm?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried, 7-0.
Have you ever taken advantage of the June, July, August, December?
No.
That's what I thought.
No. Resolution 1718229, designation of school district newspaper, Dodge County Pioneer.
So moved.
Motion by Dick, second by
I'll second.
Jim. Any questions on this resolution? Dick?
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 7-0. Resolution 1718230, designation of official depository for investment of non-referendum funds. With the list of TSB Bank, BMO Harris, Mayville Savings Bank, American Bank of Mayville, and local government investment pool of the State of Treasurer's Office.
There's 2 banks in Mayville. I'll move.
Motion by Norm,
Second.
second by Joe. Any questions on this list of depository?
We haven't used,
No.
other than Dressa and government investment pool, have we?
Right.
It just looks good.
Let's just give us options. Any other questions? Norm?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Resolution 1718231, appointment of school district attorneys. Madden Vanderloop, S.C. Edgerton, St. Peter, Petak and Rosenfeld, Godfrey and Kahn, Davis and Keelfeld, Smandel and Murray, Strang, Peterson, Patterson, Renning, Lewis and Lacy, Quarles and Brady, WASB Legal Services. Need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by
Dick.
Dick. Any questions on this list? Each one has their expertise. We use them for different things.
What's the, gotta see where the commas are. Strang, Patterson, Brady, what is that one? That one I'm not familiar with.
They're more personnel. I have not used them since I've been here
Yeah, I think Strang isn't even in there.
in that group anymore.
Yeah, he's on his own.
I know he does a lot of presentations on, like if you go to a Wisconsin Association of School Boards, he's one of their speakers there. Independently, he still speaks. He's not a WSB
Right.
person, but he speaks. He's a big school law person. So like right now this year, we've used the Madden Vanderloop services, we've used the St. Peter services, we've used
We'll use Davis and
Field
Keelfeld.
Special Education,
Yeah.
come out of Green Bay,
Oh,
and Quarles and Brady for finance, and then WSB.
Yeah.
Probably the most used would be St. Peter and then WSB.
Any questions on this list of attorneys? Dave?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1718232, appointment of school district auditor. Erickson and Associates.
I'll move.
Motion by Nord, seconded by
Second.
Jim. This is who we've used the past few years.
Yeah, pretty recently actually, so
Yeah.
I think we,
We did change to Erickson about 2 or 3 years ago.
yeah, fees were better.
Yeah.
I think Brian may come back after one more year of working with them and just recommend RFP, so we'll see.
And it's a recommendation to do that.
Yeah.
But it's usually to our advantage.
Any questions on this resolution? Nord?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Any possible future action items you need to put on the next agenda? Any unfinished business? New business. We have resolution 1718233, approval of class of 2018 for graduation. I'll move. Motion by Norm, second by Joe.
We have for total, I didn't add them up yet.
Is it 93 yet?
Yeah, I thought it was 95.
So
Yeah,
95?
it'd be 93. I know off the original list, there were two that we took off, so we're down to 93. And as every year, there's always a few that we're supporting very strongly to the end to make sure that they make it.
Sure.
Do you have an estimate of what percentage of that list was there last night?
No, that's a good question. I can get that.
Definitely a good group of kids there last
Yeah.
night.
Any questions on this list? Norm?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1718234, approval of co-curricular contract for the 2018-2019 open enrollment applications. I guess it's not
Jan, is
co-curricular.
this co-curricular contract?
It's not co-curricular.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
didn't catch
It's
it.
all right. It's a,
Amend that.
it's open enrollment application.
Yeah,
That's
it's
presented.
Oops, I-
Everything else
sorry.
was,
Need a motion.
Move, I'll move.
Motion by Norb, second by
Second.
Joe. So those are the lists of ins and outs,
yeah, in order of 4K through 12.
which you discussed earlier.
Yep.
Any questions on these open enrollment applications? Norm?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1718235, approval of 2018-2019 teacher contracts. Need a motion?
So move.
Motion by Dave, seconded by
I'll second.
Jim. Yep.
Okay, so right now, these are the, so this time of year, you either are approving a contract or they're automatically getting rolled over, is what happens. So you have a preliminary notice of non-renewal that's required to make any changes to somebody's contract. If you're reducing it by any FTE, if they're under 75%, if they're 100% to 76%. Anything 70, underneath that, I would say 74% to say, play it safe. 74% or less, if you change somebody's contract, you just need to let them know that their contract's being modified. So right now, what we have is, everybody's contracts are recommending that they are rolled over. The dollar amounts are exactly what they are being paid as of this school year. We did share with the negotiations committee what it would mean to implement CPI, which is in the budget, as well as what would it mean to implement our compensation model. So there'll be some more dialogue on that with a recommendation that then comes to the whole board. But we're in a good position financially when it comes to that for the 2018-19 school year. So the changes in FTEs, any changes at all are reflected here. So like this staff member was our new Spanish hire. We're expanding Spanish into our middle school next year, so there's an increased FTE to 0.67%. The Mr. Cartman was started this year at 58% due to the strength of the program, and the course request, that's up to 95%. And then there are two positions that are, well actually three. So we have one staff member, that position, we're offering Spanish, therefore that bumped out the elective that was being offered. So that's Miss Roxanne Court, we've been in communication with her. She's gonna go back into the full-time paraprofessional staff member, that position that she has here, does a great job. And then Ms. Morris, her certification, we're looking for, right now we have overloads in the music program based upon certification. So one of our teachers has an overload